we're in the wake of people sort of, coming to the realization that it's more than likely the right for a woman, or a trans man for that matter, to have sovereignty over their own body and decide whether they want to terminate a pregnancy is gravely threatened. It's either going to happen, sometime in June, like a total wipeout of Roe v. Wade, or pretty close. And so there's awareness of what's going on, and you have the right sort of like, there's really two responses from the right. One is to sort of downplay. We saw like Ben Shapiro say this the other day. You can go to Mexico and get an abortion. We're not outlawing it in the entire world. And those are the people who are, concerned about or maybe don't have as narrow of a constituency where they feel like they have to justify this thing as not being draconian.
They have to downplay the consequences of their religious theocracy that they're trying to implement, so that they can do it, because it's not when you talk about what actually is going to happen, not that popular. Right. Or the other part of the conservative movement is full on embracing the theocratic nature of this. And here is sort of like, Tate Reeves, who's sort of somewhere in between. He doesn't have to fully embrace it, as long as he says the right words to trigger these things. And then we'll show you another Republican politician who is all in on that. Here's Jake Tapper talking with Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves. Of course, it's the Mississippi case that the Supreme Court is looking at. This one drops the date in which a woman has a right to get a pregnancy from 15 weeks out from, to end a pregnancy, to get an abortion, 15 weeks out from conception, which of course is a full-on assault at Roe v. Wade. And once you decide that we can just make up whatever the date is, it will ultimately be if you have sex, you just will have no right to end a pregnancy. You need to suffer the consequences of your actions. Morning after pills, those also will likely be under assault, because if life begins at conception, please. Right. You can't, as soon as you have sex and that results in the pregnancy, you better not try to mitigate that. Let God take care of this. Here is Tate Reeves.
So is that a yes, that if Roe v. Wade is overturned, you will enforce the almost total abortion ban in Mississippi that exists in the inevitability or in the situation where Roe v. Wade is overturned? Yes?
Yeah, Jake, that is a yes, because if you believe, as I believe very strongly, that innocent unborn child in the mother's womb is in fact a child. The most important word when we talk about unborn children is not unborn, but it's children. And so, yes, I will do everything I can to protect the lives of those children.
So
now, that's why, if you wonder why they say innocent unborn children in the womb, and they say the most important thing that we say is not unborn, but it's children. Now, they use the word children, but of course, this is not a child. It's a fetus or an embryo. Or, to the point where a law like Texas is trying to limit, like the one in Texas is trying to limit abortion. It's an electrical pulse, basically. Yeah. Well, the bottom line is that a person is someone who is born. A citizen is born. A child is born.
Yeah, a life is born. When I say, when did my life start? Only like a right-wing ideologue would say at conception. Right. Well,
but did it really start at conception, or did it really, what is conception? Did it start when your mom started to ovulate? Before the egg was seeded, right? There is an egg there that you ultimately became you. And there is a sperm that ultimately became you. And what is the process of developing that egg and that sperm? When that's up for debate, okay, then there's no limit to the end, to what the states can determine, which they're all hiding this behind states' rights. And then be clear here. If this is a person inside this other person who has equal rights to the person who is carrying them. In many respects, their rights are actually trump the rights of the mother.
Yes.
Why?
This is a diminished, well, okay, sorry, you're teeing
Well,
this
I
up.
mean,
It's an attack on female personhood is how it should be framed.
yes, indeed, because if you as who is carrying an embryo, maintaining a pregnancy, your rights become subservient. If your life is threatened, or just simply in terms of like, you go down just to, I don't know, nutrition. I mean, all throughout the scale, you are secondary